Hi, I'm Bukumi David. I am the lead AI instructor at AI Accelerators. Today we'll be talking about 5 techniques of machine learning. 5 machine learning techniques. Let's go straight into it. If you are joining us for the first time, kindly do well to subscribe, like, and share to your friends. Drop a comment below if you have any question as you engage this material. These are the things that we'll be discussing today. We'll talk about regression, we'll talk about classification, we'll talk about clustering, we'll talk about association and dimensionality reduction. These are ways by which computer learns, both in the supervised learning technique and the unsupervised learning technique. The first technique we'll be talking about is regression. Regression is a technique used by supervised learning to guess a number. The computer studies past examples with known numbers and then learns to guess a new number for a new data. What this simply means is whenever the computer is trained with a large volume of numbers, it recognizes the patterns that causes the changes in each of the numbers, and it uses that to predict the subsequent numbers that are going to come after the numbers that occur in the particular data it is trained with. Regression is used when the answer we want is a number that can go up or down. So like a price of a building, like a weight of a product, or the temperature of a particular region. The computer studies the pattern between the inputs and the numbers and then uses that pattern to make its guess. So examples of application of this is guessing a price of house in a particular location, looking at the size of the house, the location, and the age, that's how long the house has been built. Another one is getting how many products a shop will sell next month. This is very much interesting, and one of the people that use this so much are the business analysts. They can use this to get the forecast of the profit that they are going to make in subsequent months. The second technique that we'll be talking about is classification. Classification is a technique used in supervised learning to sort things into groups or categories using past examples that are already sorted. So what this means is classification is used when the answer we want is a category and not basically a number. So it's a category like yes or no, or cat, dog, or bird. The computer studies many labeled examples until it can sort new ones correctly. So what that means is we feed an AI model, we train it with data of different kinds of animals, and then it begins to classify the animals that are same together. So it begins to put the cats together, put the dogs together, put the birds together, and with that it can identify the patterns that will help it to recognize a cat and differentiate it from a dog. The example of application of this is deciding if a photo shows a cat, a dog, or a bird. I explained in my previous video when I was talking about computer vision. This classification is what helps the part of the computer that understand image and video to be able to differentiate between, let's say, a cat, a dog, and a bird. The next technique that we'll be talking about, which is the third one, is clustering. Clustering is a technique used in unsupervised learning to group things that are similar to each other without being told the group ahead of time. So a basic example of this is giving the machine learning model a large number of food type. The computer looks at the data and puts similar items together in the same group called a cluster, which is where we got the name from, clustering. So nobody tells it what the group should be. It just find out by looking at and recognizing the pattern in the data that it is fed with. Example of its application is grouping news articles into topics without being told the topic at first, so much so that we can have a group of news articles that are written, that are related to artificial intelligence together, that are related to farming together, that are related to real estate together, and so on and so forth. The next technique we'll be defining is association. Association is a technique used in unsupervised learning to find things that often happen or appear together in a data. So for example, we can feed an AI model with a large data of different kinds of food, and it begins to associate food that go together with themselves. So it could pick bread and then associate it with coffee, associate it with butter, and so on and so forth. It could pick like jollof rice, associate it with salad, associate it with other things that go together with that particular food. The computer studies many past records and look for patterns like when A happens, B also tend to happen. This helps to find hidden connections between items or even events. Example of this application is a store noticing bread buyers often also buy butter, as I've explained before. A streaming app noticing viewers of one show watching another particular show. And the last technique that we'll be discussing for today is dimensionality reduction. This is a technique that is used in unsupervised learning to simplify data that has too many details by keeping only the most important parts. So what this means in a very simple term is reducing the data that are not necessary to only have the data that are most important to that particular training that we want to carry out. Too many columns of data make a computer's job slow and confusing. These techniques shrink the data down to the few most useful parts while keeping the important information. So an example of application of this is simplifying a 100-question survey down to its key patterns, or compressing a detailed image while keeping its important features so that the image is not going to have a large file size. Finally, how these techniques connect. So we have the supervised learning, which is they learn from known answer. And under this supervised learning, we have regression, and then we also have classification. Then for the unsupervised learning, this is a learning type that explore data on its own and find pattern to identify it by itself. Under it, we have the clustering, association, dimensionality reduction. Regression guesses a number, classification picks a category. Clustering, association, and dimensionality reduction all work without answer. They explore data to group, connect, or simplify it. If you've learned something in this video, I want you to put it in the comment section below what you have learned so far in this training. If you have any question, put it in the comment section below. If you've not subscribed, kindly do it to hit the subscription button now. Thank you for joining. See you in the next video.